Hey YouTube, today I thought I'd make a video showing off my entire Blu-ray Steelbook collection. I haven't made one of these videos since January 2017, so I thought I'd update that video because it was pretty popular and I've picked up so many awesome titles since then, so I just really wanted to share them with you guys. So first up we have Seven Psychopaths. The first time I saw this movie I wasn't that into it, but then I rewatched it again and I had a great time. I think Martin McDonagh is a very witty director and writer, and I really love In Bruges. Like, that's one of my favourite movies of all time. And I thought Three Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri was fantastic, and Frances McDormand definitely deserved the Oscar on that one. But yeah, Seven Psychopaths, it's not as good as his other movies, but it's still pretty awesome. The Road. Viggo Mortensen, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. He gives a brilliant performance in this movie. It's so harrowing. It's one of the best looks, I think, at a post-apocalyptic world that there is. It's a very tight-knit character study between a father and son, but this movie will break your heart. It's so good. I really recommend watching this. If you're someone who thinks that post-apocalyptic movies are, they're kind of ridiculous and you're not into them or whatever, that they're kind of childish, you should watch this. It's very grounded, and yeah, it kind of throws out the fantasy and just focuses on a realistic relationship. Next up we have Thor Ragnarok. This is actually the 4K Steelbook. It's my only 4K movie that I own. I don't actually own a 4K player. I just had to get this one because the Blu-ray sold out. And I wasn't going to miss this movie twice. I missed it in the cinema because I had to work, and I was so sad because I was waiting for that movie. It was my most anticipated movie of the year, of 2017, and when I finally got to see this, I was so happy. It lived up to the hype. Taika Waititi is a brilliant director. What We Do in the Shadows was a favourite comedy of mine, so yeah, his humour translated very well to Thor. Yeah, one of my favourite Marvel movies for sure. Next up we have Kick-Ass 2. I absolutely adore the Kick-Ass comics. Kick-Ass 3 is actually out at the moment, and there's a new Hit Girl comic out. I'm reading both of those and I'm enjoying them. But yeah, the Kick-Ass movies are awesome. I actually have a Kick-Ass tattoo. I think I've probably said that before on my channel, but that's how much I'm into these movies. And I know some people don't really like this sequel, but yeah, I loved it. I love both movies. I think they're equally as good as each other. Deadpool. I was waiting for this movie to be made since 2008. I remember just little whisperings about it, and it was happening, it wasn't happening, and eventually we got it, and I was so happy. It lived up to the hype as well. I've been getting pretty lucky with my anticipated movies that they were living up to my expectations, and yeah, I cannot wait for Deadpool 2. We have the first Avengers. I actually picked this up really cheap in the CEX store. I think they might have had it mispriced. I think they had it priced as the regular Avengers movie and not the Steelbook, because I think this was about €6. And yeah, MCU Steelbooks are always so expensive, so this was a steal. And yeah, I love the Avengers. Batman vs Superman. My friend Sarah sent me this Steelbook, and it's one of my favourite in my collection. I just think the art is amazing, and I know the movie itself is divisive, but when I saw the Ultimate Edition, it put me into the camp of people who really enjoyed the movie. When I saw the theatrical cut, I wasn't that into it at all. I thought some of the fight scenes were really cool, and I liked some of the cinematography, but yeah, I kind of agreed with what people were saying. But now, Ultimate Edition, it's the best way to watch the movie, and it's really enjoyable. But it is kind of one of those things that you sit down into it, because it's about 3 hours long, and you're in for a long journey. Warrior. Tom Hardy gives an excellent performance in here, and yeah, it was a fantastic movie. It was another kind of grounded movie, focused more on the characters and the action, but there's some great fight scenes in here. And yeah, the Steelbook was actually really cheap. I picked it up in like an old typical Irish store. It's more about tourism. I was shocked that they had movies, and more shocked that they had this particular movie. The same store, I picked up 300 Rise of an Empire. This sequel actually surprised me. I thought it was really good. I don't think it's as good as the first 300, but yeah, if you like just sword and sandal action movies, I think this will satisfy that want that you have. This is the first 300. I actually found this in a charity shop. It was only €1, perfect condition, and yeah, the first 300, it's pretty cool. I remember all the gyms doing their 300 Spartan workouts at the time. I actually remember that more than the movie for some reason. Star Wars: The Force Awakens. I'm one of the, I don't know if I'm in the minority or not, but it seems that way. I loved The Force Awakens and I loved The Last Jedi, so I can't wait to pick up The Last Jedi Steelbook. Same with Rogue One. I thought Rogue One was fantastic. It was from the director of the Godzilla remake, and I thought that this movie, just some of the war scenes, like, I'm trying to think, I can't think of the name of the planet, the final planet, but I just thought it was awesome. When the AT&T gets shot with a rocket launcher in the face and its head just goes down like that and then just boots up, I just think that's so cool. I should have done my research a bit. I cannot remember the name of that planet for some reason. Macbeth. This steelbook again was one I found really cheap, but I tried to watch the movie and I guess I'm not cultured enough because I couldn't really get through it. I'll have to try it again. The Departed. This is an absolute favourite of mine. I absolutely adore this movie. All the performances in here are great, and I think this movie, I think it kind of rivals Goodfellas in Martin Scorsese's catalogue of movies. I just think both of these movies are just fantastic. So you can't go wrong with Goodfellas or The Departed, in my opinion. Captain Phillips. I remember hearing some mixed reviews about this, that they thought the movie was kind of boring. I didn't think it was boring at all. It's been a while since I've seen it, but I remember Tom Hanks giving a really good performance, and something that really stands out to me is at the end when he's in shock. I thought this was the most realistic acting I'd seen of somebody in shock. I thought he really portrayed someone in shock very well. Okay, one of my favourite, I don't know, do you call them manga, I guess, kind of, the Scott Pilgrim books. I absolutely love them. I have a Scott Pilgrim tattoo as well, and the movie Scott Pilgrim is brilliant. I think Edgar Wright really nailed the style of the manga comics books. I don't know what to call them, graphic novels. But yeah, fun fact, I have my collection signed by Brian Lee O'Malley, the writer of Scott Pilgrim. I was in a different country, so my mum took my books and met him, and she also showed a picture of my tattoo. And I wish I could have went, but I think it's cool my mum got to meet Brian Lee O'Malley, and I really love the art on this steelbook. The Dark Knight trilogy. I had these as regular editions, but this, when I saw this steelbook just encapsulating just an amazing trilogy, I had to get it. I just like when it comes in a nice little package and then steel as well, so couldn't resist. The Deer Hunter. I actually haven't seen this yet. I just really loved the art on it. I've heard the movie's a classic, so I will sit down to watch this. It's just a very long movie, so it's kind of finding the time to allocate to that, and I hear it's pretty harrowing to watch, so you also need to mentally prepare yourself for something like that. Go in the opposite direction, Jaden Smith, the Karate Kid. I remember just really liking this steelbook. There wasn't a lot of steelbooks in Ireland at the time. This is probably my first or second steelbook, and yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the movie when I seen it. I think it's good. I haven't seen it in years, so I don't know how it holds up. It could have been just I was really into fitness. There wasn't loads of fitness movies, so yeah, you know, it was good. The steelbook looks nice. Rush. I saw this movie 2 Christmases ago, and I just thought it was amazing. And then I found the steelbook very cheap. There's actually a magnet that sticks on here. I keep it inside because I don't really like the magnets that much. But I really like this. I just like the simple design. Red's my favourite colour. Just simple. Rush. And Chris Hemsworth's amazing in this movie. Favourite comic book character of all time? Logan. The movie that just blew me away, lived up to the hype. There's videos on my channel of me being excited about this movie. I was kind of lucky that I was making videos when this was all coming out, because it captured my genuine reaction and showed what a dope I am. But yeah, I loved Logan, and this steelbook, man, it's so cool. Alright, I'm trying to not have them all fall over here. The Wolverine, again, everything I say to Logan kind of applies to this. The only thing about this movie is I kind of feel the last half of it falls into generic superhero movie 101. Like it's a pity. I still enjoy it, but it goes against what the movie was trying to be. I think it just suddenly shifted tones, I think James Mangold, I think he perfected what he wanted to do in Logan. I don't know if in the Wolverine at the studio kind of stepped in and were like, all right, we need a big villain at the end. But yeah, it's still very enjoyable. I actually get more enjoyment out of X-Men Origins Wolverine. I know people hate that movie. I've talked about my channel so many times about this movie being special to me in relation to nostalgia. I watched it recently enough, and yes, I can see the plot holes and the silliness, and yes, oh, they sew Deadpool's mouth shut and everything. Like, I hear it all, I see it all, doesn't matter. Adore this movie. And Liev Schreiber as well as Sabretooth. I love him as Sabretooth. I actually was really hoping that in Logan that he would just make an appearance. I would have loved that. That would have blown me away. Even if that last fight with X-24, if that had been with Sabretooth, oh, stuff, that's just stuff. X-Men Apocalypse. I actually picked this up in one of my Blu-ray hunting videos when I was in Glasgow. I really enjoy the movie. It's not my favourite X-Men movie, but I really love how Apocalypse looks here on the cover. In the movie, I think he looks grand, but I remember seeing this, they were going to do the original Apocalypse design. I just saw a video online and it looked unreal, and I just think the movie would have really benefited from using Apocalypse's original design. Maybe knock the A on his belt off. I'm not that into that, but his face and all is pretty cool. But yeah, it's a fun movie. The Rogue cut. I accidentally ripped up my Rogue cut, so I went on a search trying to find a nice Rogue cut. I ended up ripping the slipcover. I was so excited and very drunk, and I just was eager to get into it. I don't know how, but I ripped the slipcover and I somehow ripped the plastic Blu-ray box in half. But it led to me getting this awesome German steelbook. I love it. X-Men First Class. Oh man, this is a top-notch X-Men movie. I love this artwork here. This is brilliant, and I don't know, just I love it. Yeah, I haven't got the other X-Men movies there on my list, the original trilogy. I'd love to pick those up with steelbooks, but the prices online are ridiculous, so I'm just hoping to pick them up one day, maybe second hand. Okay, Legend, another amazing Tom Hardy performance, and 2 performances for the price of 1. I mean, he kills it in this movie. I love a good gangster movie, and this is definitely a great one. Wanted. I actually have more editions of this movie that I'm like willing to admit. Yeah, I won't go into the amount, but yeah, this one I picked it up for like €3. They're always like so cheap. Yeah, I really enjoy this movie. I really like Mark Millar. I think he's really he's one of my favourite writers in comic books, and I think his comics have translated pretty well into movies, and this is a good example. Chappie. I love Chappie. I thought it was brilliant. I think the movie's a bit misunderstood. I think people were expecting a kind of a robot and his creator, you know, come along, and I think this was more about children getting sucked into gangs and just kind of a, what do you call it, like my brain's not working for me, but basically just talking about that and putting it in a way we can relate to. There's a very obvious word that I'm trying to say, but I cannot think of it. Captain America's Civil War. Civil War is one of my favourite comic books of all time, so yeah, when they were bringing out this movie, there was no way I wasn't going to be there day one to watch it, and I was definitely going to pre-order this steelbook. I actually went to a Captain America marathon when I saw this in the cinema, so they played the first 2 Captain America movies and the first 2 Avengers movies, and then at midnight, Civil War, and yeah, it was awesome. And I think the steelbook's really cool. The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. I actually bought this from my mum, but I ended up really enjoying the movie. I thought it was very good. I wasn't that into the second movie though, but I thought the steelbook was really nice, the art on it. Okay. Rabid. I nearly said Neil Blomkamp. No, David Cronenberg. Yeah, I love this movie. Me and Josh did a... Oh man, you get past the 10-minute mark and your brain just starts going... yeah, me and Josh made a collaboration exploring this movie, and it's kind of a special movie to me because of that. So yeah, I definitely recommend watching the original before the Soska Sisters remake comes out. American Hustle. I thought this was a good movie. I hear mixed things about it, but I thought the acting was good in it, and I kind of enjoyed that it was, you know, just set in the past, good heist movie. That's it. Cabin Fever, one of my favourite Eli Roth movies, and I love this Steelbook. Surprise, surprise, it's got red on it, so obviously I love it. But yeah, that's like the way to bait me into getting a Steelbook. If it has metallic red, I'll buy it. Yeah, this movie's really, it's really funny, but it's got some great horror in there. I still remember the girl with her teeth all exposed and her lips ripped away, and the girl shaving, and the pancakes kid as well. That's some pure Eli Roth humor right there. Like, it's just, the movie's just ticking along normally, and then just a kid who's obsessed with pancakes comes along. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. This was a movie that Sarah recommended to me. I finally had gotten around to watching it, and I adored it. I can see what the hype is about. I can see why some people would hate it, but you gotta not treat it like a real movie. Just watch it as, it's just, I don't know, it's an experience. It's very funny. Unintentionally, I think, but I'm not sure. Sweeney Todd. I still can't motivate myself to watch this movie. My mom actually picked it up, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch that, it's cool, just because it was a Steelbook. I don't know, man, I'm just not really feeling it. Like, I'm not really a Tim Burton fan, and oh man, I always have to talk myself into a musical. Tucker and Dale versus Evil, one of the best horror comedies of all time. It's up there with Shaun of the Dead. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen this movie. Like, this movie is just phenomenal. Alright, that's my entire Steelbook collection. I know I got a little bit derailed there at the end, but my brain just switching off. You'll have to forgive me. I've had the flu for the last 2 weeks, so this is my first big move as a well man, as someone who is no longer dying of the flu, to make this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, if you're wondering why I haven't been making videos as much lately, it's because I'm in college. I'm in my final year, but I was actually also working there on the way up to Christmas and afterwards, and I was working in a toy store in the video game department, so it was hectic, and unfortunately they ran out of hours, which sucks. Sorry, my phone. Yep. And I don't know, I had less time to make videos, and then I kind of got to a point where I felt stressed out to make videos, and I started making these videos to relieve stress, not become more stressed. So yeah, it was kind of at odds with myself, but I really do appreciate everyone who watched my videos, who continues to watch. If anyone's going to continue to watch, I do appreciate it. It's awesome that you take the time out to do that and to comment on my videos and like them. And yeah, I'm sorry I didn't get to watch as much of your videos. When I was working, I was just watching YouTube videos that had to do with gaming, and then I actually didn't have as much time to watch YouTube as I usually would. Like, on my commute, instead of watching a YouTube video, I'd be looking at my assignment work and trying to get that done. So yeah, but hopefully I'll be able to make some more videos. I'm not going to promise the world, like, be like, oh yeah, I'm going to have one out every week, but you know, as I feel able to make them, I will make them. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. See ya. Bye.